we need to own the program. If the Greek government, this government, and the government after the next election do not own the program, believe in it, implement it to the letter, then we won't be able to get anywhere. But this is separate from monitoring. Monitoring is something that needs to happen. And to be perfectly honest, it is much better to have teams on the ground helping us and talking with us on a daily basis than what we have at the moment, which is that every 3 months the Troika arrives. It's this huge circus. When will the Troika come? When will the Troika leave? What will be the report that they write? It is much better for the program, for Greek society, which looks upon this situation with trepidation, with a lot of anger, with frustration, with fear of the future, to have a team on the ground, just like we have an IMF team, to also have an EU team on the ground, and have technical assistance and real collaboration around the same kind of objectives.
It's the creditors, of course, that Greece needs to pay, and Greece, of course, will amend its constitution to give priority to debt repayments over the funding of government services. To all intents and purposes, the money that comes into Greece going forward goes out. How do you explain that to people who are taking a 40% cut in wages and possibly further job losses to come?
Well, I think the kind of deal that we need to explain to the Greek people is the following. Our creditors are taking care of the debt. They reduced by 100 billion, private creditors reduced their demands by 100 billion. Official creditors are lending us to be able to stand on our feet again, and we will take care of our own deficit. In other words, we will no longer, as of next year, have a primary deficit. We will be able to cover our expenditures with our own revenues, our own tax revenues. That's the deal that was cut yesterday, and I think it's an honest deal.
What do you say to people who will suggest today that Greece and the Eurozone is just kicking the can down the road, and ultimately Greece will default and will pull out of the Eurozone, or indeed be kicked out?
I think that people who say this typically are not in the Eurozone and do not understand the mechanics of the Eurozone or the political will to keep it together. They also don't understand the dramatic economic and social consequences for any country to decide to unilaterally default or exit the Eurozone. This is not a simple affair. It is something that will put the country in a very, very deep recession, a depression for many years, with unemployment much higher than what we're having at the moment. They also don't understand the contagion effects to the rest of Europe. Those who think that somehow we have now managed to isolate contaminated Greece from the rest of Europe really have it wrong.
Can you confidently look me in the eye tonight and say that this is drawing a line under Greece's problems, or is there a distinct possibility at this point of a third bailout?
Yes, I think we can be certain that this is a big enough decision to turn the page for Greece. If we implement those decisions, if our European partners stand next to us, and if they follow these decisions through with robust rules of economic governance in Europe, I think we're turning the corner of the debt crisis in Europe by solving the one place, Greece, where it started.